If you're wondering why it's black screen, don't worry. We will get to the goodness soon. But welcome to another episode of Fun with Flame. I'm yours, Danieltheflame, and today I'm going to be reviewing the long-awaited Netflix Pirates. What is supposed to be the live-action One Piece. Now, personally, I have had some feelings about the first season. You can check out my videos on those. But I decided to do a different video format this time after being inspired by the illustrious Az from Heels vs. Babyface while he did his Star Trek Starfleet Academy videos. So I will be doing that where I gauge a bit of the episode and then give my critique as the things are going on that are surely going to upset me, as the first season of Netflix Pirates was something that I just hated, being an actual One Piece fan, and I'm not a sycophant. So I don't sit there and clamor on just because I see keys jingle, nor am I someone that essentially is in nerd culture that just hooping and hollering for everything against SJW shit, and then as long as something happens to be passable, I pretend that it's just great. No, all these things deserve scrutiny, and if it's bad, it's bad. If it's good, it's good. But more than anything, you are here to hear me rant and rave. So sit back and relax. Get ready for me to go through this episode by episode. So don't expect this to be one big ass video that I know nobody's gonna watch, but a series, because that's what I do. Why not? So without further ado, Netflix Pirates. Well, we open up with a random ass village getting attacked and bombarded by pirates. And if you remember the last season, we left off, the crew of the Straw Hats were heading to Logtown in order before they get to the Grand Line. So we open up this season, like I said, with a place getting attacked by pirates, ransacked. And then we see Miss Valentine's Day and Mr. Five, who are supposedly here, and they mention that they're in the East Blue. Boy, we are off. We're off, heading for the races, aren't we? So many things wrong with this to unpack. For anyone who doesn't know anything about One Piece, this would be, you know, almost nothing, but realistically, it just narratively doesn't make any sense. One, why are we seeing these characters right now? They hold no purpose. At the end of last season, they talked about Baroque Works, but bringing up characters that are a part of Baroque Works now does nothing. We are trying to find Luffy in them. We're supposed to be watching Straw Hats right now and engaging more in their story. Baroque Works shit should pop up later. It should not be showing now. This, as a narrative thing, this wouldn't really entice you to be like, "Ooh, I wonder what's happened with these guys," because again, they shouldn't be here. This shouldn't be a thing. Why would Baroque Works be in the East Blue? So it's already very retarded, because the grand scheme of what Baroque Works was doing was that they kind of handled themselves as like a pseudo bounty hunter crew, as well as being just the kind of hidden army for Crocodile. So them actively engaging and attacking a Navy base serves no purpose, as well as just seems very retarded, as it would shine a light on everything Crocodile is doing, which he shouldn't be known and shouldn't be done. But we're dealing with the writing of morons, just utter fucking morons, because this is moronic, and it can only go downhill from here. And so we are given our first look at Miss All Sunday, Nico Robin, the illustrious Nico Robin, shown here in a great, wonderful intro to the character, completely destroying the mystique as well as the overpoweredness of her character going on from when she first is introduced with the Straw Hats after what happens. But again, in a glorious turn of events, you have the characters that are here in question actually question what they're doing here, which is stupid. That's how idiots write. They don't know why they're here. But she just said due diligence. Due diligence of what? You're a secret organization. You're not supposed to be known about, let alone go around doing shit. Ah, the entire reason. See, this is why I was like continuity is a serious thing. Shit following a canon makes sense because the entire reason that Luffy, Zoro, and Nami get put on a hit list, as well as why Vivi has an issue, is because they find out that they know who the leader of Baroque Work is, as well as they have information on Baroque Works. So then they're supposed to get got. It's a group of assassins. They're not pirates. It's like the people who are in Baroque Works don't have known bounties or are widely known. They're all hitmen. The only person that actually had a name to himself was Das Bones, Mr. One. So, and again, he was a bounty hunter. So again, this is very moronic because you're starting off with some random shit, and it's one of the things where it's like you just want to jingle these keys in front of everybody. Oh, look what I got here. Look what I got there. I'm so fucking reminded of the Starfleet Academy show doing the exact same fucking thing. Nothing has substance already. Because this, I don't know, like, if you're just watching this for the first time, you don't know who these people are. So this intro, as well as the intrigue behind them, makes no sense. So it wouldn't be anything to where it's like, oh, they're going to be a problem later on, or this is going to be a big deal, or whatever. And it's like, you don't know who these guys are. So them being shown this way is only being done because you already know about One Piece. But if you know about One Piece, then you should understand, this doesn't make any fucking sense. It's out of order. God damn it. No. I'm sickened because I hope that they don't do the exact same thing they did with Arlong. They're going to because they're bad writing. Whereas like you have these minor who gives a fuck characters try to seem like they're these imposing big baddies. But the problem is that what Luffy and Zoro and Sanji brought to the table in the first rip were that they were problems. These characters were serious issues. This is written by a fool, so whatever. Boy, this is just like, it's just like a cosplayer's dream of a show. So we have Nico Robin show up, and apparently these Navy officers are saying remember your oath with a guy that was doing some very bad acting. A staple of this show, if you will, because the first season has some terrible acting in it. But like really bad line delivery shit. They like that kind of bad acting. But he said, like, remember your oath, we will hold this line. They're inside of a building, and the only barricade they put up was just a single board over the door. But then the confusing thing happened was that the door seems like it was being hit with like a battering ram or whatever, but then the door opened up and it was Nico Robin. Why? Why would the door do that? Why would she do that? That doesn't make any sense. Who was banging on the door? Because it couldn't have been her. The appropriate thing would have been that her arms would have came out and lifted the barricade in front of the door and pulled it off. That would have made sense. But her banging on the door doesn't make any damn sense. Nico Robin isn't the strongest motherfucker out there. So just very odd. Very odd choice of things to do. But I guess is to show you to be scared of her. I don't. Again, the mystique of her powers and not knowing what she was capable of, as well as how dangerous she was, that was inducive of the world building. So you didn't see that. But now you're going to show her do shit, and it's going to be goofy, isn't it? Okay, so now we're met with the scene that they had in the trailer, which was her doing her walk down towards some Marines while she was murdering them with her hand technique. Again, odd. This was all odd because it was done in a way that essentially was... It was one of those things where it's like, yeah, you're trying too hard, because they did everything they could to make this seem similar to the walk down Vader hallway scene, which is a beautiful scene from Star Wars Rogue One. But this just came off as goofy. As these characters have guns and swords and no one was able to aim them at her. And then Nico Robin is known for basically having her hands come out all at once and clutching motherfuckers all at once rather than do something stupid like waste time like this and have people react to what she's doing and then not doing anything. Again, these are Marines, so they would know something of devil fruit powers as well as be like, they were already standing at the ready. So them just kind of letting her get away with it, just that came off as weird to me. But she didn't walk down the hallway and then killed the commander to then get to the guy that essentially was in the beginning running away cowering. And then she said, "Where do you keep your dead?" So that they could find Mr. Seven, a character that they never shown in like the One Piece anime or the manga, but also would bring question as to why the fuck would he be here? There'd be no point for that, because again, Baroque Works is entirely made up out of people who are assassins with no notoriety. They're not known by anybody, so that they cannot do anything to corrupt or mess up the very inkling of Baroque Works. So this is stupid. This is really stupid. He wouldn't be here. And again, if this is going to lead into some stuff about them going after the Straw Hats, which would be insanely stupid, I just, it's making my head hurt. It's already making my head hurt. I'm only 2 minutes in. It's making my head hurt. You motherfuckers, if you keep setting them up, I'm gonna keep knocking them down. I hate this. I hate this so fucking much. I just hate this. Something to me that just would have been a nice homage was that if they used the wanted pictures from the actual manga and anime. Wouldn't that have been cool? Wouldn't that have just been a nice, funny, very Ichiro Oda-esque thing to do, rather than to have these pictures that just look so fucking weird and awkward? Because he looks so awkward in that picture. And I hate to say that, because he actually is like one of the only good things about this series is his portrayal of Luffy. It's fine. It's not the greatest thing in the world. And again, a lot of the shit that happens to him is fucking terrible because of the bad writing in the series. But again, as an actor doing his job, he's really the only one that's okay. Everyone else just kind of, but this is fucking terrible. So you have Miss Sunday. Can't say Nico Robin yet. You're never part of the crew. But you have Miss Sunday looking into who killed Mr. Seven, and they care. They care about it. But not only do they care, they know who did it. Oh my goodness. Like they said, this is the handiwork of Rono's own. These motherfuckers are in the Grand Line. They don't care about the East Blue. Let alone would they know about some 2-bit bounty hunter. Because that's all Zoro is at this point. He's a 2-bit bounty hunter. They don't know him. So this makes no fucking sense. And then again, all it is trying to set up that they're going to be aware of them or anything like that. But that shit comes in later. See, the issue that's going to be had with a lot of this shit is that you're taking away from the world building as well as the narrative that makes this shit make sense. This doesn't make sense because again, once you pile everything on together this way, it just comes across as pretentious crap. This is the kind of shit that you would see in a fan fiction or something like that. Maybe this is how they figured out what they did. Or in some bad video game that comes out on the Nintendo Wii. Something stupid, right? Like, this is just so fucking stupid. Like, all of this is some shit that they would be interested in. They care about the guy that turned down Baroque Works. Why would they care? What would that have to do with anything? Right now, Crocodile will be in the final stages of his plan. Thus why the issue of Vivi finding out who he is being a problem. Hell, you have Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine's Day say that Mr. Zero wouldn't be happy about this. These niggas don't know who he is. So just so much wrong about what's happening. It's just, again, it's in the early stages of the episode, but it's like this shit is screwing up how things are supposed to flow narratively. Because you will ask yourself when they mention them and talk about them later, all right, Baroque Works, this big organization is doing this, blah, 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 blah. Why would they care now? Fuck, the incident and what happens at Misty Peak is what gets them to be noticed about Luffy and the gang. But now, why would they care? Why would this matter? Why would you attack this base in order to reveal you guys or showcase anything about you guys if There's no reason to. The guy's dead. You move on. Crocodile's that kind of a badass. He's dead. You move the fuck on. Either someone fills in the spot or we just whatever. So goddamn dumb. And then even what they did was that they made it like a named person that Zoro killed. When I believe, like in the series, it was just that he was offered a position in Baroque Works and he turned it down, and he wound up killing the person that said it. But he gave no name. But in this shit show of a series, they actually showed him fight a guy that never fucking happened because So we're at a point where we're interested. Turning to the story where you got the crew being a crew. In all honesty, it's fine. It's fine. Can't do too much harm so soon within the series. And honestly, I always thought that some of the interactions that they had with the characters were okay. Just okay. But a major downfall would be Sanji's flirtatiousness when it comes towards Nami, as that is a major fucking downgrade of his character, as well as a huge fucking problem within the series. But you just got Usopp hanging on, Usopp twiddling away with stuff. Sanji's cooking, Chopper's doctoring. Yeah, yo. Sorry, my fandom creeped out. Which they kind of just so nonchalantly mention how they're running low on supplies to mention them going into Log Town, which is something that they're already supposed to do. But and it's kind of a heavy-handed thing, but whatever. But yeah, so far I always said like this is the crazy thing. If Netflix truly wanted to have done something, this is what they should have did. Made a fucking filler series. That could have been genius. Because then you could have as much fun as you wanted with whatever gay shit you wanted to do without compromising the actual story. It would have been such a genius move to do, but you got dumbasses running the ship, and so the series is fucked. But yeah, whatever. Okay, this is just confusing. For some reason you have Sanji coercing and tricking Nami into wanting to stop at Logtown so they could shop. When that's why? Why would you do that? Why? It it wouldn't have been a problem for her. It wouldn't have been a problem for them. It's one of the things where it's like they have to go there, not for narrative's sake, but like literally for the supply reason. So even Nami would understand that. And it was like get in, get out, and you could just easily write in the fact that Luffy is the only one with a fucking bounty. So Luffy is the only liability, and Luffy is the only one that needs to worry about with them being in the Grand Line. They're not known. Luffy is. Just you do shit like this, and then you wonder why I call out the fact that characters aren't being characters, because this isn't the characters being characters. This is some dumb shit, and it all matters. If you thinking, oh, I'm nitpicking, I'm not, because it all matters. Because again, this is the shit that defines them. Hell, some of the best interactions between the crewmates in One Piece is during the downtime in between them going from point A to point B before different arcs start. So again, and all of that is justified by their actions and the stuff that they do and say in between those moments and like talking with one another. It's what creates the Namaka concept. But I'm in for a rough time. Oh boy, this show already has me very conflicted about a lot of things. So we have more of the banter, ha ha ha, he he he, ho ho ho, as Usopp is scared shitless, and then everyone else is basically throwing in their 2 cents as to why it is that they would go to Locktown, and then they ask Luffy, and well, upon talking to Luffy, essentially with him, it's just no, let's, I'm want to go to become, I got to get to the Grand Line to become King of the Pirates, and which it was an incident that I just didn't like because they spoke about, like, they all spoke of him, talking about being a King of Pirates in tandem, but they said it as if it was like a tiresome thing. again, these people believe in him, right? Nami more than anyone would be super excited about Luffy right now because this is after he saved her from Arlong. So yeah, but also considering the fact that like they also mentioned the whole calm belt situation, I thought they were going to do the calm belt joke, which would have been cool, but I guess that probably was too much money for Netflix, even though it's hilarious and really important and necessary. Yeah, well, it's not important, but still, it's hilarious. That's just disappointing rather than it being bad. That's just a disappointing factor. Now I'm nitpicking. We don't have the crew try. Well, we have everyone except for Usopp trying to convince Luffy to go to Locktown, into which Usopp specified it as death. But then everyone just kind of puts in a little bit as to why they need to go to Locktown in order to get shit before they go to the Grand Line. And I'm very confused because the mention of food was done. They needed more food, and that wasn't an immediate yes from Luffy. Just why would he need further convincing after that? And then essentially it's odd that like after the fact it was like the main thing to get him to want to go to Locktown was the Gold Roger thing. That was odd. If anything, I feel like that should have just been some added information later, which easily could have been like the reason as to why Luffy would run off after they get to Locktown, knowing for a fact that his ass is wanted. But yeah. Oh no! Don't adjust your screen. No, you didn't skip nothing. I didn't skip nothing. No, what you're seeing right now is Garp speaking to Gold Roger. Why the fuck are we saying Garp speak to Gold Roger? This is the shit that makes this show bad. What the actual fuck? What the fuck? Why are we seeing Garp speak to Gold Roger? This is not information that is necessary or needed at the current situation that we're in, which is Luffy going to Locktown with the crew. That's it. Oh my god, this makes absolutely no sense. Not only that, there's animosity between Garp and Gold Roger. If you punk motherfuckers are gonna actually indulge in some shit based off of what actually happens in the future, at least get that right. Especially if you're just gonna shoehorn it into the story when it's not needed or wanted. No, you bastards. What you did is you have Garp talking to Gold Roger as if Gold Roger is a piece of shit whom he caught, which he did not do, which he didn't do, because you assholes had Gold Roger say, Garp, Monkey D. Garp, the hero of God Valley, meaning that you have to bring up the fucking God Valley incident. The God Valley incident is mentioned after the shit that actually took place with Gold Roger. Motherfucker. Nigga. To take in exactly what's wrong with this, it comes from a notion of actually like it's again, this is jingle key shit. This is the shit that distracts a bunch of dumb motherfuckers into thinking they're watching something that has some depth, because it's being handled like bad drama shows where they gotta have different narrative shit playing all at once, otherwise they can't fully understand the story. So I gotta see what this character is doing and what that character is doing and what this character is doing and what that character is doing all at the exact same time, otherwise I'm not doing anything. Think of The Expanse or old, not really old, but like certain like older Star Trek. They did shit like that, and really like to pin it, to get an exact science behind this shit, you'll think of soap operas. TV soap operas handle this perfectly, and it's goofy if you don't have a splitting narrative. Like if you have a straight direct narrative, then this shit is terrible. But when you have multiple interconnecting storylines, then it works. It works perfectly well. This is not a multiple interconnecting storyline. So to have these two speak right now, when this is a situation that comes up later, is disgusting. This is so fucking stupid. Because again, this does nothing to the current state of affairs. You don't need to see this right now Fuck! And then this shit right here is another thing that gets me pissed off, is because of the fact that you have the abundance of mouth-breathing sycophants sit there and say, each of the order, okay, the script here, okay, the script. Why? Why would you lie? Why would you lie to me in my face? This is the exact same bullshit that was in the Cowboy Bebop live action, and you got it again for the One Piece live action. Oh my God. The only reason that the One Piece live action didn't get as much scrutiny as it needed to get is because One Piece is a newer kind of anime, and a majority of the internet community that delve into talking about nerd shit, especially people that would critique this shit, were people who aren't into One Piece. So seeing what Netflix did was a whatever. And then a lot of them was like, whatever. But Cowboy Bebop is an iconic anime that a lot of people grew up with, whether they're into anime or they're not. A lot of people grew up with it. And to just see how badly that was represented needed addressing. And with One Piece, not a lot of people in that sphere that basically would recognize or understand this. So this shit is out of place and it's fucking annoying. It's fucking annoying because, again, you're dropping bombs narratively that make no sense. Fuck! I'm pissed. I'm so pissed. Why are they here? Gay. 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 Fuck you. This is gay. Gay out your ass. Gay. YouTube don't even play my videos. Gay. You gay motherfuckers. Okay. This is not just a straight up fandom thing. This motherfucker said my son. He said my son. This is not information you need to know right now. One of the cool things about seeing Ace, for you motherfuckers that don't know who is Luffy's brother, the actual child of Gold Roger, fuck you with your spoilers, but one of the cool things about seeing Ace was that you didn't know Ace wasn't Luffy's brother. You just knew Luffy had a brother named Ace. That's it. That's all you got. And then later you get Whitebeard. And then, Jesus Christ. And later you get Whitebeard. Later you get the introduction of Garp, and then him being the grandpa. All of that, like Luffy's family lineage, is some shit that's brought up over time, as well as the introduction of Ace, as well as whatever the fuck that these assholes decide to shoehorn in the first fucking episode. This is the first episode, and you're gonna shoehorn in Garp talking to Gold Roger, and Gold Roger telling him he has a son who is not born yet. The way how Ace's mother saved him from being fucking murdered because the government did everything they could to kill any kid that could have possibly been born because it got out. He did have a child. They murdered all the kids. His mom held him long, like basically for like 36 months or something like that, or 90 something months, and then died in the process of giving birth to him just to ensure that the kid was able to be born. So how the fuck would Gold Roger know that he has a kid, that he has a son specifically? The kid ain't born yet. All that he says to Garp is that I have a kid out there, because otherwise it doesn't make any narrative fucking sense. You see, this is the bullshit that I'm talking about. You can't possibly tell me that you are actually a fan of One Piece when your writing is of this shit caliber. Fuck, this is stupid. This is so unbelievably stupid. I am heated. I'm sitting here pissed because it's simple shit. It's simple shit that literally leads into huge reveals, major moments, and just beautiful storytelling and character development for all these characters. And you fucked it up for absolutely no goddamn reason. There's no reason to have this scene. So why do you have this scene? It's not even a matter of just sitting there going, well, the people who don't know anything about One Piece saying this is going to be whatever. Well, what this does is make you think that Gold Roger is fucking Luffy's father, which again would ruin anything about Luffy, because Luffy isn't a typical shonen protagonist in which your father was a guy that did the thing that you trying to do. Gong, Naruto, bitches. Just your ancestor is related to whatever you're doing. Yusuke Urameshi, the main dude from Jujutsu Kaisen. It's like stupid. Fucking Demon Slayer. Yeah, that's the dad thing going back. And it's like fuck. And it's like no, Luffy is his own character of his own volition and his own mentality that just so happens to want to become king of the pirates. Gold Roger is not related to Luffy, and it's not even implied, nor does it need to be encouraged to have that because it ruins that beautiful, simplistic ideal from that character. It's like just like what the fuck. Whew. Again, this is some shit to where it's like this is simplistic shit that you can easily get behind from just looking at One Piece. And if these assholes looked at One Piece and they missed all of this, fuck them right in the gay because this is gay. This is annoyingly gay. Oh my god, this is an hour-long episode. There's 8 episodes. I'm 12 minutes in and I'm pissed. Fuck. God damn this show. God damn this show. Okay, so we then go back to the Straw Hat crew, like you should, in which we then see them enter Lockdown. And then upon them entering it, they start talking about divvying up money, going to buy shit and whatnot, and then they just kind of make a bunch of stupid. It just felt stupid. But then we get the piece de resistance. It's Dragon! They're showing Dragon right now as they're entering Lockdown because you know who Dragon is? Of course you don't. You don't know. Why would you know? Why would you care to know? Why do this? Does it help with anything? No. Makes a lot of things silly. Makes a lot of things silly and stupid. Very stupid. But oh boy, just gotta jingle those keys for all those idiots. I guarantee you, people with the subscriber count 3 times as mine could ever hope to be, with me being as positive as I am, the bright ray of sunshine that I can be, will sit there and look at this and they're like, oh, dragon, oh, but this dragon. I hate so much about what's wrong with this show, and there's nothing I'm never gonna do about it. And so now we get our first introduction to Smoker. Oh, it's Smoker. Hey, nice Smoker. In which we see him ride his bike through the water, but he has back tires. Um, uh, no. You see, he was using his fruit to power the bike, so that's how he was able to go over water. He didn't just ride over water and smoke came out. That's stupid. The other thing that I said, that's smart, but this is stupid. Fucking idiots. Oh my goodness. So we're introduced to Smoker, in which he's already pulling up a pirate, and then he says, "No pirate escapes me." So you can kind of you can pick up what he's putting down, that Luffy and his obsession with trying to capture him, and then some type of idealistic weirdness of him being like, I gotta capture him, is gonna be in tow. That's not why he does what he does with Luffy, but written by morons, so I'm gonna keep the party going. And if I may, the acting in this particular scene happens to be particularly bad. Whoever's this black guy with big ass mutton chops that they got playing some no-name Marine, and then Smoker himself and his line delivery, this is one of those things where it's like clearly there was some just really odd table reads, and they just needed to do whatever when it got to the point, and it feels awkward. All of these interactions with these characters and these people feel awkward because it's like there's no, I couldn't even say synergy being the right word, but it's just there's nothing about this that feels authentic, as if they're talking to one another. It feels like robots reading a script, and it's very off-putting, and I don't like it. Oh, God damn it. No. 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 This is gonna keep crying. You're gonna tell us who this is. This is fucking Bartholomew. Oh shit. What the fuck is he doing here? This nigga is in the Grand Line. What the fuck is he doing here? He's a goddamn cannibal. What the fuck is he doing here? He doesn't appear till Dressrosa, which is after they go into the new world, the other half of the Grand Line. What the fuck is he doing here? Jesus Christ, it is a moron who wrote this, a fucking moron who directed this, and a moron that's the showrunner. Fuck these people. God damn, this is disgusting. This is so goddamn disgusting. Why? What is it? Why would you do this? Why would you do this? What the fuck? Oh my goodness, this is so beyond the realm of I can't do a 1-for-1. It can't be done. Some things are gonna get mixed up. Some things are gonna get mixed up. You're adding shit. How the fuck? You take away what's necessary and you add shit that's not even a part of what's supposed to go on. And yet you have no problem with doing this. You have no decency as a human fucking being to let this shit happen. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's so ridiculous. This is unbelievably ridiculous. Shit. Oh man. And you people think this is a good anime adaptation. Oh boy. You see, I'm far too pissed for the small shit to actually matter. But we have a moment where Nami is talking about how she had a book when she was a kid, and then Usopp talks her into buying it because, hey, remember where you came from? Who gives a fuck? This is, again, whatever. And then she talks him into saying someone in order to hint more at Kuina. So I said Kuina, not Kuina, Kaya. So then I guess assuming he's going to call Kaya, whatever. Why? I don't know. They're trying to do more interpersonal shit, but again, you're feeling in shit that isn't necessary and not needed. You got to remember the amount of time in which these guys leave to get to the Grand Line before like they get into the shit. It is not a lot of time. Like they cover a lot before they get to the new world. Like seriously, they do a lot. So it's not as if they've been gone for like months to years on end. It genuinely be a couple of months before they get to Sabaody. So this is it's just whatever. It's a whatever scene. And now we get the introduction of Kuina. Oh my god, Kuina. Yes, yay, brave, stunning. This has got to be a very cringe-inducing scene. The oddness of this is the fact that you essentially have Zoro bump into Kuina, but he doesn't do the glasses break thing, which leads him to clean the Navy or whatever. I mean, the Marine thingy or whatever. But that kind of leads into him not having the money for the sword, sort of. I think. I'm trying to remember that. But this was just again, a very weirdly acted scene. I don't know what it is with everyone, but it seems as if they're talking at them, not to them. Like they're speaking towards the script director behind everyone, but everyone's delivering their lines in a very weird manner. Again, it's just very off-putting, and I can't get over it. Not only that, but you then have another cringe moment. I hate using that word, where Zoro then snaps over the fact that he's not lost of his sense of direction thing. Now, that's a joke within One Piece, and it's hilarious, but it's not something to where, Zoro would react to the way that he's reacting. Hell, you don't really have Tashigi, trip out over him to where he'd be off put by her actions or nothing like that. He just kind of immediately defers the situation. So with that, it just kind of sparks in. If you don't have the added in shit as to what leads to their relationship being the way they do, him breaking the glasses, her taking pity on him, and then also being tempted by the sword Watto. If you don't have that, then the awkwardness behind this interaction is just kind of weird. Now, you could say because of the whole Kalina thing, but again, he was very cold towards that aspect. Yet when she mentioned the direction thing, he started to act weird. It's just odd. Like hell, Zoro never has a thing of him getting upset about his sense of direction. To him, he's always going the right way. Everyone else is doing the wrong. Everyone else is going the wrong way. That's kind of what surmises the joke in a very hilarious manner. But yeah, again, this show conflicts my brain. It insults my intelligence. It insults your intelligence. You actually have a scene that played out very well. I give you props to that. Zoro walking into the sword shop actually was done very well, tastefully. The joke of him bringing up the haggling thing, done tastefully, actually funny. Even Tashigi coming in the way that she do, rather than stopping uh, the sale or whatnot, she actually was just like geeking out over it, and then like she has her sword being clean there. That actually was fine. What ruined it was that when Zoro picked the curse blade, you had Tashigi be the one to recognize it rather than the shopkeeper stop him and then bring up the damage of that. And then Tashigi essentially would also chime in and then also bring up and talk about the thing itself. But the guy knew, but the guy being scared of it also just kind of leads more into the appreciation of Zoro doing what he does in order to get the blade or to prove his luck towards the blade, and thus when the guy goes and gets a sword. So Tashigi being the one scared from it, and then the guy showing up and just kind of being standoffish about his uh about Zoro having the sword and just kind of being like, yeah, nah, like it's bad. Like it doesn't really carry the exact same flow as with him being the one who's like, not that blade, it just a small thing, but a minor imperfection to what otherwise could have been just a really good scene. That hell, even the acting on this was just done a little bit better. But you do have a pro with the guy that is playing the sword shopkeeper. He's been an actor for a very long time. That's a funny thing to say, but now this just kind of threw me off a little bit because I'm pretty sure Zoro said luck when he tested the blade against him. He brought up his luck, not his will. They had him say will. That was just a small weird thing. And then again, you have the guy essentially just like and then he goes and gets the blade. But also, like his standoffish attitude towards Zoro in the entire conversation is just kind of really doesn't help push that fact that he would then do that. But whatever. Also, I miss that I wish he would have told Tashigi, like, all right, sorry, girl, find me another good one. Something like that. So, you got another situation where now we're finally seeing Luffy with Sanji. All right. And they mentioned the little elephant tuna thing. Um, it's whatever, who cares? But it's nice, another one of those situations where it's like the dialogue that they have between the characters actually does volumes for the lack of character appreciation that this show has towards a lot of them. But it is one of those cool things to actually have Luffy be someone that kind of bolsters and helps Sanji in terms of thinking about Zeph and whatnot. And then if they're having this whole remorseful about to leave the East Blue to go to the Grand Line type of thing, that's a cool little aspect about it. But also I need to note, because I forgot about it, I didn't mention it at the time in which it was said. Um, you had Zoro, you had Sanji kind of clamor at Zoro about what happened with Mihawk, and then Zoro said you weren't there, which he wasn't. But I can't help but mention exactly how terrible that is because of the fact that that situation is one of the main situations that leads to Sanji wanting to join the crew. See, this is one of the things what I'm talking about when I say that a lot of the stuff that happens within this show ruins a lot of the things that are character defining and dynamic moments and points that just help these people become the people that you know and love from the anime. And Sanji seeing Zoro get defeated by Mihawk, as well as him willing to die for his dream, was one of the major factors that pushed him to actually want to join the crew and leave the Baratie so that he can follow Luffy. But this show took that out, and then you just had Sanji just go with them, cuz. And yeah, it's bad. So I just couldn't help but mention that because it was something that always bothered me because it's a very annoying factoid from this series. But again, that's one of the off-putting things about shit like this scene, where it's like you have things that genuinely feel like nice added comfort towards the characters that you're able to convey within this live action. But you screw up major character dynamic in situations that are a part of the character's actual development from the original story. And then for some reason you just push on as if, well, you didn't need that in order for me to tell the story my way, but you need it in order for the characters to act the way they're supposed to act. So it's so fucking dumb. So you got Usopp leaving Kaya goodbye message, blah blah, who cares? This is also very weird because rather than just outright calling her, he's leaving a message. Don't understand how that works. Again, trying to add depth when it's not really necessary considering the circumstances, but whatever. Oh, you're not mistaken there, dear viewer. You're seeing Bartholomew in front of Nami. You're seeing Bartholomew in front of Nami. Bartholomew tried to pickpocket Nami, and then she gave him pickpocketing advice. My brain, it hurts. It hurts so bad. I hate it. I hate it. Again, this is the showrunner, writers, whomever, taking the piss out of your brain for doing something incredibly stupid. That's not necessary. Now, I know for a fact they're going to rush a lot of shit later on. And because of that, scenes like this is one of the things that would make you go, well, if you took that out, you probably could have not rushed this scene. But, oh well. The fact remains is that this is an unnecessary fucking concept that we have for no fucking reason. And it just ultimately is not good. It just isn't good because again, it does nothing for nobody. You don't know who this is. You won't know who this is. He doesn't matter now. Even if he was around during this time, he didn't interact with them. We know this because anime is very linear. Hell, his admiration of these characters comes from finding out about their exploit. But, well, if you didn't know, I might as well spoil it for you. What you're looking at right here is the man that is the biggest Straw Hat Pirate fan in the world of One Piece. And that's it. Again with this show and the conflicting feelings. All right, so we're back inside the sword shop. We're back inside the sword shop, and the thing is that again, good scene. This is actually a good scene. A small negative positive within this shit. The thing is that narratively, because they did the fucking soap opera shit where you moved your point of attention from one character to the next, it ruined the flow of this scene having an actual cathartic conclusion of being the guy immediately going to get the sword, coming back, and then Zoro leaving. So by breaking it up, it just kind of, again, the pacing. It just made a weird aspect of pacing, which is crazy considering the fact that One Piece already has a major pacing problem. I'm not just speaking based on the anime, just being the way that it is. The manga has a pacing problem. All right, don't get it twisted. The manga is not perfect. It has issues in certain aspects and areas, but there's things that you're able to convey easily through manga than anime, but realistically, a lot of it is still a major pacing issue. But the thing is that by breaking this shit up the way that you're doing, again, you're doing a little highlight thing. It's a soap opera move, but it's not really necessary for the show. This should have concluded earlier rather than right now, is all I'm saying. But otherwise, still very well acted. You have a seasoned actor that actually knows what the fuck he's doing, and giving Tashigi and Zoro less lines helps immensely. For whatever reason, these people are terrible at this shit. But yeah, this actually was a positive. The negative is just, So now we cut to Bartholomew being. He's now going after Luffy because Nami gave him the advice on looking for an easy mark, and so Luffy is now that easy mark. And this is probably to set up him actually witnessing Luffy's iconic moment on the gallows before the lightning strikes. But that's stupid. It's so stupid. Unnecessary. So goddamn stupid. I can't. The show, man. Seriously, like this is bullshit. I think more than anything, why I get upset with this shit is because of the fact to where there's no logical explanation as to not following what it is that was put down in the manga or the anime for that matter. There's nothing wrong narratively with those storylines. So the addition of this stuff is weird because again, it doesn't do anything unless you know stuff about One Piece. But also, like I've said before, if you already know shit about One Piece, then this is fucked up. You're ruining shit. So anyone who hasn't seen One Piece, if you watch this show, you're going to be spoiled so much shit that just is beautifully and narratively brought to light when it is decided to bring it to light in the actual story in the authentic way that it was originally written. So this right here bugs me because looking at it, it's just a question of why the fuck would you do this? There's no logical reason behind doing any of this, even for shit to where, like the introduction of Bartholomew. This is something Ichiro Oda said that he was there, and then hell, Bartholomew talking about the fact that he actually saw what happened with Luffy. Fine. That's fine. You want to have a character look like him in the background or pop up and do the thing with Nami or whatever? That's fine, all well and good and small. But you know for a fact they didn't do those things. So for someone who would say that they actually care or like the series or they want to show appreciation to the series, why are you adding shit that ruins things that appear later? So even if you were someone that decided to watch the Netflix One Piece and then you decided to then go and look at the anime, you have had so much shit spoiled for you already. So much shit that will have less of an impact when you look at it because this series was up its own ass and doing shit that was unfucking necessary. This is so unbelievably dumb because it it has no purpose. It has no purpose whatsoever. Being someone who knows about One Piece, I can call this shit out. But if you're looking at this series on its own merit, then it's just pointless. So then by the end of so when you're looking at all this stuff and it's like, all right, you got all this stuff going on, but what does it matter? It doesn't matter. To an average person looking at this doesn't matter. It ain't nothing. So why? Why do it? Why? I don't understand. It's just not necessary. And then again, you add in shit like this, but you take away other stuff, like the swordsman giving, like the guy who owned the sword shop giving his sword away to Zoro, but you don't have the wife come down and just start like busting his balls for getting rid of a family heirloom just for free. It's like this. You got stuff like that, but that's a joke that each other put in there. It would have been funny. Ha 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 ha. It's like Jesus Christ. This is so dumb. Okay, now, see, this is the weirdness of this show. Because, again, you're adding unnecessary shit that doesn't help. It just shows your lack of creativity and then essentially just how fucking stupid you could possibly be with this writing. Don't forget, the writers of this show are fucking stupid, okay? A lot of this shit is being carried just by the fact that One Piece already exists, but the additional shit that's added on to this stuff is dumb. It is incredibly dumb. Now, you have this weird fucking festival going on to celebrate the king of the pirates being killed, which, again, doesn't make any sense. It's like, why would you do that? And then them being like, well, it's just the Marines reminding everybody or whatnot. But it takes away from what actually happened, which was that there is nothing. Why would there be? It's like there's just nothing. The gallows itself is just that. It's gallows in the middle of the town, and then Luffy goes there, and then chaos ensues because of Buggy's crew. So to have this festival carnival shit, which is unnecessary. And again, the show itself proves how unnecessary it is because they immediately remove it in order for Luffy to have his iconic scene where he's looking at the gallows where Gold Roger used to be. And in that scene, there's no one around. There's nothing there. There's a full-blown fucking huge festival happening in front of the gallows. But you put that there. It's not supposed to be there, but you put that there. And then you remove it, which leads me to question, why have it? And then you have Bartholomew following him as a mark, yet he immediately bumped into Nami to try and pickpocket her, but she wound up stealing from him. So why is he following Luffy? Well, we need him to guide him to the gallows. Well, he just goes there. Luffy goes around asking for directions and people let him go. People tell him where to go. It's not as if anyone at that island is like being hostile towards him or just plain dicks, which is what you showed earlier, but that was all to force Bartholomew to pop up again. God damn it. You go out of your way narratively to push your bullshit rather than stick to what originally was done, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with all of that stuff. Again, speed up the pacing. Take away some of the added fluff that the anime had that's not necessary. And then you move the fuck on. But you assholes keep introducing shit that's not necessary. Fuck. See, like this. Look at this. Like there was a full-on festival that was just fucking happening. The town was in a roar of the festival. There's not even fucking lights on because this is supposed to happen during the day. They've only been there for... Jesus Christ, there's so many things wrong with this fucking show. Why are you so stupid? Damn, this is dumb. Fuck, you did everything you could to have Bartholomew lead him here, and the motherfucker not even in the shot. Why? Because he's not supposed to be in the shot. Oh, so dumb. So fucking dumb. This is what I'm talking about. This is what's aggravating about this show. There is no need for the additional bullshit. This big fucking tent behind Luffy is not needed. It doesn't need to be there. You just need to see him look at the gallows. In the daytime, mind you. But you just need to see him look at that. That's it. That's all that's supposed to happen. That's all you're supposed to see. It's an annoying aspect about this. Because narratively, it does nothing. It does absolutely nothing. Again, it irritates me because I know what the actual story is. But if I didn't know what the actual story is, I'd wonder what the fuck is the point of a lot of the things going on. I would assume certain things are important or certain things aren't important. But how the fuck could you possibly tell? Because narratively, they're all over the goddamn place. They're showing you and talking about shit that you wouldn't be privy to right now. It's stuff that's important later. Fuck. So dumb. So goddamn dumb. So we have the introduction of Buggy and his crew. Buggy, oh my god, yay, right, wow, Buggy's so brave. I just realized something. Is Bartholomew only included as much as they possibly can because he has a nose ring? Think about that. Just think of the gayness of Netflix. Then think about the gayness of the showrunner. Then think about the gayness of Netflix's pirates. Is that not a very viable option? That's why they needed to shoehorn him in so fucking hard, right? Because the idea of just admiring Luffy in his own glory, just doing Luffy shit, and you just being in the background, that can't be. You know, like that's not a possible thing, even though that's literally what defines his character. But instead, no, he had to actively be talked to by Luffy. A thing that he don't do he no do, but for Netflix pirates, he do, he do. So I gotta wonder, is it because of the nose ring? Now, introducing Buggy is arduous thing that this series does because they continue to have him be uh, in a more of an annoying presence than an actual endearing villainous kind of character. Um and then rather the joke of essentially Buggy and his crew looking for Luffy and then wandering throughout Locktown and then you seeing that. Instead, he just appears full blown with his crew, waiting for Luffy at the gallows. you know, but fuck all that. Fuck all the interactions between Luffy, him. Hell, they haven't even shown Alvida. But instead, you have again to add more to Bartholomew. You have Buggy talking about how Bartholomew should join up with him, I guess, or he looks like he should join his crew. It's a bunch of nonsense that doesn't matter, and I'm scared. I'm scared because I just am. I really am. She's still fat. That's fat. She still looks fat. Did y'all superimpose her head onto someone else's body? Because that's kind of what it looks like. But she has a fat head. She has a very fat head. You're just supposed to find an attractive girl to play this. You had one fucking job. It's Jesus Christ. She's fat. She's still fat. Just Jesus Christ. That looks weird. It looks so weird. Jeez, man, this is the Flash kind of weird. The dog in the air, baby in a microwave looking weird. I mean, I didn't expect a lot from Netflix, but nigga, all you have to do is just find a different actress to play Alvida or make this bitch lose weight. And like, fuck, like, so aggravating, so aggravating. Because the better thing is to find a more attractive woman because, duh, you're supposed to. She gets incredibly slim. Um, but let's introduce Alvida. Yay! Oh my God, Alvida is so stunning and brave. No Ozempic. Fuck. Just so mad. I'm so goddamn mad. It this so we have Buggy essentially just cursing up a storm in front of Luffy, which is odd. And then as well, kind of talking down about Gold Roger, which is what he doesn't do and he wouldn't do because if you know something about Buggy, which I'm not gonna spoil because I'm not a piece of shit. If you know something about Buggy, he wouldn't talk bad about Gold Roger. But still, it was all inclusive of the fact that Buggy wanted to get revenge and Alvida wanted to get revenge. And then upon seeing Alvida, Luffy is taken back because he has no idea who it is. And then we learn that she ate the slip fruit. But for whatever fucking reason, gay Netflix pirates just couldn't commit to the bit, which again is even further proof that these motherfuckers don't care about the original source material. Because there's absolutely nothing wrong with having an attractive woman play this part. Because that's what happened to Alvida. She became attractive. This bitch got a fat head. This is a fat ass head on this body. But that's a fat ass head. It looks like a fat ass head. I'm so confused, conflicted, angry, scorned, upset. I should not do this to myself, but I do because hate flows through me like fine golden liqueur. Okay, well at this point, I don't know if her head was imposed on a body or if she did lose weight. Ozempic! Um, but they seem to have completely removed the notion that Alvita became pretty when she ate the slip fruit. Whatever. or her sudden interest in Luffy upon being saying like, hey, you're the one who hit me, and now she has kind of a little admiration towards him, and her partnership with Buggy was simply one of revenge. But instead, this bitch just stated that she was the most dangerous pirate in the East Blue. She isn't. She really isn't. Buggy's above her. Shit. The fuck, Don Krieg, Kuro, Buggy, Arlong, all of them niggas are a problem. Alvita is not a problem. So I don't understand. And also her doing a little slip thing when she gets away. That happens when they're getting chased. But, whatever. Why? Who cares? You're not supposed to give a damn about knowing this shit. Continuity be a motherfucker. What you're supposed to do is look at this, smile and wave, and just be so happy that they're jingling these fucking keys so you can remember some of the shit that actually took place within the anime that made canonical sense so that this piece of hot garbage could possibly keep moving this plot forward. Because otherwise, it don't make any fucking sense. But, whatever. You sack of shit of a show. Okay, so you were able to be smart enough to remember that Luffy throwing a punch at Alvita does nothing to her because slip fruit. But you weren't smart enough to remember the fact that Luffy couldn't be hurt by Alvita because Luffy ate the gum fruit. But instead, Luffy goes flying, and then you throw sea prism cuffs on him. Even though that's not how Bucky captures him, but instead he puts this nigga in the gallows and then he tries to kill him in the gallows by cutting his head off. I'm so confused. Not only that, but then you also have Buggy grab Bartholomew and bring him along because he's so fucking important to what it is that's happening right now. But you just gotta you gotta get the most out of that fucking makeup that you did for the guy. I'm trying to piece together why, just why. Because again, if you're following rules or continuity, which apparently, you're pissing in the wind at this point. If you're following continuity, why did he go flying? Why did he get hurt? Why is anything? Why is brown the color brown? I don't fucking know. I don't really got a critique of this scene right here. I just wanted to point out something. baby girl, baby girl right here with this outfit. You killing it. That shit looks awesome. I don't know why. I just really want to point it out. Like the whole ensemble is great. The pants, the sweater, the bow. That shit looks so cool. I don't know why. At all the things that I've seen in this series at this point when it comes to clothes, this right here is great. So we now return back to the crew without Luffy, who has sadly been imprisoned by Buggy. Well, Netflix thinks Buggy, what Netflix thinks of Buggy. And I gotta say, this is another scene where it's like, you screwed up on something very small, which kind of has a echoey effect on handling a lot when it comes to the narrative. You see, right now they all come back. Zoro finds out about his swords. Zoro gives the money back to Nami, and then he said he haggled. I actually thought that was quite a funny little joke that they did. But then she says, "You still owe me. You still owe me for the interest." But you got to remember, like that really doesn't. Like that's okay, I guess, but it really works better when it's like he gave the money. Because of the glasses, and then he lost, and then and then we had like a little bit of it. So and it's just a running joke for that short amount of time with the characters throughout like certain aspects of it. But then you have Usopp said that's weird, and I also find something very weird that the sash that's around Zoro's waist is what holds his swords. So the fact that they literally built a harness to hold all three swords, but they're holding it outside of the sash is odd. Because then you have to wonder, why the fuck does he have that little green thing around his waist? It is odd. It's just odd. Just got. But whatever. I'm pretty sure like costume design could have fixed that or did something with it. But They didn't do that. But then you essentially bring in Sanji, who then reports that he got all this stuff, but he sent it to the Mary, except he has the fish himself, the elephant tuna, and then that he lost Luffy. So then Nami naturally gets upset, and then they rush off to see to the gallows because that's where Luffy's supposed to get executed. Now, here comes the problem with this because of what is that's supposed to happen in the actual anime. See, with Nami understanding that the storm is coming and that they need to leave, she then goes that her and Usopp need to get to the ship so they can unfurl the sails and everything and prep Mary so that they can just immediately take off because duh. But then you have Zoro and Sanji actually go to save Luffy, in which they go to the gallows, which is, of course, also duh, because Nami and Usopp can't fight. So, but right now we have in the scene, Nami throws a lot of the supplies or whatever to like I think Usopp or whatever, but then essentially they all go rush to the gallows where Luffy is. Now that's not a good thing. That's really isn't a good thing because again, you then have essentially the situation with the storm being introduced, Smoker showing up, as well as dealing with Buggy and all that stuff. Like they're really pressed for time, and then you've shown that huge chunks of time have passed already because it's fucking nighttime now. Which you could contribute to, well, the storm clouds are coming in. But no, remember, before you heard lightning or anything like that, it was dark when Luffy went to the gallows when he was in the little festival thingy or whatever. So, yeah, there's a lot going on here, but it's like, again, it's the small shit that has a ripple effect in terms of actually pushing the narrative. Because obviously it's going to lead into these guys going into the little gallows area and fighting, but still, they shouldn't be. See, now we're still in the realm of fucking stupid with these people because you immediately jump to essentially some type of showy courtroom thing. Because again, this is some bullshit that Netflix would have whom they think Buggy would do. When again, they would all be aware that they're deep within a town that has one of the largest marine bases in the East Blue. Okay, so they will be pressed for time to do what they need to do and get out of there. Yet they're putting on a show, let alone just any show. But again, it's with two known wanted pirates, Buggy and Alvida. Both of these motherfuckers have bounties. Both of these motherfuckers are in this blue. We've seen Alvida bounty in the front fucking area when they first walk into Logtown. So we know people would know of them, let alone people would just be standing around indulging in this bullshit. But again, all you get is that essentially you have Luffy about to get his head chopped off, and then he accepts his fate because if that's where he's supposed to go, that's where he's supposed to go. And then it's very iconic, very awesome, very moving and touching and amazing. But we're not getting that. Instead, we're getting this slow fucking burn of stupid in order to encumber whatever fucking budget that they had that just because Netflix likes to write blank checks. So again, they're filling in unnecessary dumb shit. And it's just disgusting. This is annoying. This is so fucking painful to look at. Because it's like, where do you get off writing this shit? What is the significance of it? Like, it does nothing. If I'm aware and they're aware of the situation, the time factor, and then what it is that they're supposed to be doing, why are they putting up this show? Buggy isn't someone that's dumb enough to do something like this if he knows the Marines are after him. Fuck, in the anime, him and Alvida come in cloaked, and Alvida's able to get by because Alvida don't look like Alvida. But you can't do that because you pick the same bitch, you dummies. Fuck, this is so stupid. This is tiresomely stupid. It is one of the things where it's like you ignore all the warning signs around you so you can have your gay ass, dumbass show. You have a problem? It's so unbelievably stupid. Just so unbelievably stupid. This is not necessary. This is not necessary to convey just Luffy dealing with Buggy and then the fallout and the aftermath behind it. you could do so much more by adding more to essentially the smoker fight and just the overall introduction, or like the wind issue that happens at Logtown with Dragon. But you're not going to do that. That's all going to be really, really lame because your priorities are all fucked up because you don't know how to write. You're standing on the shoulders of giants and you're taking a piss. For whatever reason, you then have some fake courtroom scene where Buggy is acting as Luffy's lawyer. Alvida sits there and classify all the things that he did to do her wrong, and then they sentence him to death. Unfucking necessary. But then you have a very dumb dialogue exchange between Luffy and Buggy, where Buggy says there's nothing more powerful than a story, which doesn't make any fucking sense. I don't get that because there's no story to be had here. See, the issue that Buggy has is that he just wants revenge. In the anime, it's very clear cut. He just wants revenge. Period. There's no need of this other bullshit. He just wants to kill him. Alvida also just want revenge. That's it. So all this extra shit just makes absolutely no sense. Fuck, for whatever reason, this dumbass show decided to make Buggy treat Alvida as if he's attracted to her. And why would he be? Look at her. Fuck what Ozempic did. No. It's like, why would you add that? What are you doing? And you just have this huge onslaught of Buggy just essentially belittling and talking down and just feeling so remorseful, not remorseful, but feeling just so, in a very odd way, damn near like petty childish banter towards Luffy for no reason. Again, the dialogue wise, it just comes off as odd for this character, even considering all that he did and what Netflix has done to Buggy and whatnot. But it's like the interaction with Luffy is just kind of just super odd. I don't really understand it. And then again, we're sitting here in a situation and a scenario where you're having Buggy and Alvida being upset and feeling jealous over Luffy for getting a higher bounty than anyone in the East Blue. Yet, according to your dumbass show from your first fucking season, Buggy worked for Arlong. He was under his thumb. Apparently everybody worked for Arlong. So him beating Arlong should be no problem if they were to think, oh, I can just take over the East Blue now. But that would only be a case because of your bad writing from the first season, not in the narrative of what it is that One Piece is supposed to do. You see what I mean when I say that they trip over their own feet because they don't know how to write? Because this scene has to happen in order for One Piece to continue on in their plot. But according to what the fuck Netflix did, this scene shouldn't happen because it doesn't make any canonical sense. There's no reason for Buggy and Alvida to be here for a sense of revenge, because their reason for revenge is the fact that Luffy essentially got a bigger notoriety than them. But if they truly cared about some shit like that, then why isn't it that they took down Arlong when they had the chance? You see what I'm saying? So you kind of fumble at your own feet by doing something incredibly stupid and unnecessary, because you should have it like how the original story was, where it's just they're after revenge. That's it. But they keep harping over the fact that he wants to be king of the pirates. He has a bigger bounty than them, or he's done what he's done in the East Blue. It's dumb shit. And again, if they're that upset and they're that mad, it doesn't take away from the fact that they would know they're in Locktown, where they have one of the biggest marine bases, and Smoker, a guy who's there who knows how to take care of devil fruit users, as well as has the ability and the equipment to tackle other devil fruit users like them, and also would be they'd be in a precarious situation to waste time for that dude to actually show up, to where they wouldn't be able to do anything if he was to come back. Hell, Alvida isn't supposed to know about the iron cage nets that they use against devil fruit users. Buggy does, but Alvida doesn't. So it is so unbelievably dumb that they would do this for this, like they're going so far to stretch out this bullshit, and then later, like, just it all just amounts to stupid. Like this all just amounts to stupid, because again, going off of what it is that's supposed to happen in One Piece, and then going off what it is that Netflix is setting up, it don't fit. It just don't fit. So they have a fight scene, heavy on the wire, slow on the action, whatever, who cares? Very typical of Netflix, very boring, very off-putting and sad. And then considering knowing what they had in for the trailers and how much money this fucking show is given, I'm bored. I shouldn't be bored when you have an action scene, but I'm bored. Boy, still the first episode. So she sneezes. So in the midst of Nami fighting Alvida, which don't happen, in the anime, can't do a 1-for-1, but I can add that bullshit. Fucking idiots. But you have Nami knock away her sandals, and then Usopp shoots her with a pepper star that makes her sneeze. And this force of the sneeze is strong enough to push the woman all the way back into like a thing of stuffed animal. I'm starting to think that somebody is attracted to this actress that plays Alvida, or they really enjoy her acting. Both things are not good, but that doesn't make any fucking sense. Not only that, but Alvida already shown that she can control the trajectory of her slipping. Like she can maneuver her feet, move and slide and glide however she wants, which is why, this isn't in the fucking anime. But yeah, it also would be stupid to assume that just because she sneezes, that would be enough force that would send her just careening back into this pile of stuffed animals. Um, I I said it once, I said it a million times, and I'll keep saying it. I'm gonna keep saying it the more I keep watching this fucking show. The writing is so childishly bad. It is unbelievably bad. Because again, this situation, I'm slurring my words because I'm so mad. The situation wouldn't happen or play out this way if you didn't make it play out this way. It was perfectly fine the way that it is. But no, you have Zoro and Sanji fighting their way up to Luffy before he gets to the gallows, and that's all you need to do. But instead, you have this bullshit be bullshit. Again, too much of the crew is present for them not to be worried about Luffy because, again, none of them are going after Luffy, who was just taken away, and that's the whole reason that they're there. It's it's so dumb how this shit is written. It's just so unbelievably fucking dumb. Because again, you took gold and you just decided to shit on it. And it's like, why would you do that? How do you fuck up this bad? Like seriously, how could you possibly fuck up this bad? And it makes sense to you. So you have Smoker surrounding the place, and then he wanted the pirates to fight, and Tashigi finds out Zoro was a pirate. Okay, whatever. But then Jesus Christ, you take the literal reason behind Smoker being so obsessed with getting Luffy is because he saw in him the same thing that he saw in Gold Roger that day when Gold Roger died. And it was that look of nothing. There was no fear. Like Luffy accepted his fate, and it was someone who was just, he was accepting death with a smile on his face. And to Smoker, that scared him more than anything else because Luffy has an ability to just attract people. So it all you had to do was to have him call out to everyone as they were screaming Luffy, Luffy, Luffy. And then he was like, I'm done. And he was like, it's okay. I'm done. And that, or something of that nature, and it'd be fine because that was the point of what happened. But instead, you have this motherfucker call out, I'm going to be king of the pirates, as if he's not going to die. Yeah, because it's one of those scenarios where it was like, yeah, there was no way for Luffy to get out of the situation. So he accepted his fate and he did it with a smile on his face. And that's what scares Smoker. And that's why he's so hell bent on getting him. It's again shit that develops these characters for an amazing amount, and it just bleeds into so much that they do later on, and so much that they stand for later on, and it's like you just fucking up these moments for absolutely no goddamn reason. This is unnecessary shit. I can't keep saying this, but that's all that this is. It's bad writing at its pinnacle. And it's like, I'm gonna add shit that don't matter, remove shit that's incredibly important, and then just have everything flow in some retarded, gay ass way. I don't understand. The pacing is still fucked. The notion of behind the acting behind a lot of these characters is still fucked. And then you just got these dumbass shots and moments and movements, and then the action is even slow paced and so wiry. Fuck. Whew. Okay, well, it was able to save it. It was able to save it. All right. So you had Luffy do the smile, the laugh, accept the fate thing. Fine. Whew. Okay. You're able to save it. Because otherwise, it's like, yeah, man, I don't want to, man, you fuck up Chopper. I swear to God. So, okay, they was able to do that fine. But the acting. The delivery of the laughter was very forced and weird. And then also, I gotta showcase this very huge, glaring issue with them again doing what they're doing and then not understanding what it is that they did. Because be that as it may, that they, have Luffy doing the whole accepting the fate thing, there is a huge reason why Ichiro Oda made it to where Nami and Usopp would not be present. Why do you think that is, kids? Come on, kids, put on your thinking caps and explain to me why Nami and Usopp would not be present in the current situation, and why that also would be very, 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 very much a good thing, considering that you need to have this moment with Luffy and him accepting his fate, which seems ultimately like unavoidable. Did you figure it out? Have you thought about it? Usopp is a fucking sniper. Usopp has a clear line of shot at Buggy, who's standing up with a big ass sword in his hand. Usopp is using his slingshot on all these grunts. He even got some brand new glasses that allows him to zoom in. He has all this shit, and he doesn't use it. Uh-oh! Netflix is stupid. You see, again, by forcing your bullshit, you narratively have fucked up royally. So again, if you were paying attention, you should not have had this situation happen, because this is what's supposed to happen in One Piece, but it can't happen this way because you had these characters there that can do certain and know certain things. Nami with the weather prediction, and Usopp being a goddamn sniper. So, not indulging in this shit, you have again proven your stupidity. So, fuck you. Again, I'm conflicted as to what it is that's the overall consensus behind this choice of narrative that they keep writing, because you brought everyone together here to have this brawl, only to then split them up for the story to actually conclude the way they're supposed to conclude. Now again, Nami and Usopp aren't at the ship in order to prepare it so they can leave, because they need to get the fuck off the island. But now you're gonna have them hurry up and rush to the ship and then do whatever it is they're supposed to do, blah 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 blah. But it is, again, it's a narrative choice to where it's like, why did you do that? Why did you? What the fuck? But essentially, what you have, what happened was that essentially, Buggy got struck by lightning, which then destroyed the scaffolding, and then Luffy was able to somehow make it away. Bartholomew shows up again. Oh, can't remember. I forgot how important Bartholomew is during all this bullshit. But he picks up Luffy's hat and then he helps them escape. And in the midst of them being surrounded by the Navy, and the Navy clearly seeing Nami and Sanji being a part of the brawl, they get away. They just get away somehow. Set up a perimeter. That means you cover an area, but then these people are able to slip through the perimeter because fuck you. You live on this island, and these motherfuckers just visiting, but fuck you because perimeter. When again, they're not supposed to be there, and that's how you solve that problem. But far be it from me. Where's the sexism? There's sexism. Where's the sexism? There was some very much very clear, very detailed sexism. That was supposed to have been brought to light. Yeah, Tashigi specifically specifies that she thinks that because she's not a man that he's not taking her seriously and that he's stronger than her and everything. And then Zoro brings up the fact that he can't really harm her because she looks like his childhood friend who died, and then she specifies how she's her own person. But there's sexism. That's very much a very sexist topic that One Piece covers in a very mature, understandable, and good way, and it's endearing for her character, endearing for his character. It's great. Hell, the fact that she feels that way, and it's the same thing that Kuina felt. But Tashigi's a totally different person. But it's just understandable because she's a female swordsman, and thus necessary because female weaker than guy without devil fruit. One Piece, but also you're not an Amazon. Because Hancock's strong as shit. But yeah, sexism. There was very much a clear case of sexism thing right here that's specified that you glossed over. Other than that, the fight scene is actually really good. It's actually a very well choreographed fight scene. I give him props with that. Her giving him pointers or her saying that he dropped his elbow, weird. That's just odd. Just you fight how you fight. And then his style is his style. But aside from that, the other fight scene, shit. This fight scene, really good. Do more of that. Do fight scenes like that, and then you got something. But yeah, also it's supposed to be raining. It's supposed to be raining. It just it just is. The why is she after the swords? Why does she want the swords? You see, in your attempt to again add shit with taking away other stuff, you forgot to add the part where Tashigi mentions that she wants to collect all of the swords, all of the great swords and shit like that. A dream that is quite frankly impossible. Because she would have to become stronger than the world's strongest swordsman. So, good luck with that one, you goofy bitch. Especially because she's a girl. But yeah, you didn't have her state that. So she didn't say that at all this episode. So her saying that she's gonna take the sword away from Zoro just kind of doesn't make sense because you guys didn't write in what's supposed to be written in with these characters. God damn it! Oh god damn it! I bet they're gonna show Bartholomew again before this is over with. I bet you they will. So now Smoker shows up and Luffy and Sanji starts to fight him. Whoop-de-doo, who cares? The special effects for this are okay. They're not bad at all. Honestly, it's one of those things where it's like, well, when Netflix writes you a blank check, motherfucker, you use it appropriately. But I have to say, there's a lot of moments on this because they're kind of doing the thing where, for whatever reason, they're making the actor who plays Luffy make noise as he's doing Gatling, rather than just call out Gatling and then just kind of heighten up the sound effect of it. But he's kind of like going, da, 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 da. It sounds dumb. It just sounds so dumb. And I don't know why they're doing it. But yeah, it's just weird. But so far, this is the fight scene, I guess. It's almost like if you used to have a live action JoJo, and then he used to be fighting Dio. And it's like, yeah, Dio would go Muda over and over and over again because that's what he do. But Luffy doesn't keep making a noise for Gatling. So it's like it doesn't really make any sense here. Also, just a side note, this is the shit right here that makes me have a hard stance on the idea that Dragon Ball Z should never be done in live action. It's not as if I don't think that someone could do Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z in live action. I just know that someone will fuck it up horribly. Because again, if this is what's passing as a good anime adaptation, Lord knows something like Dragon Ball Z would not survive at all, especially with all of the fucking common, like all the shit that they're taking out, as well as stuff that they're adding in, is all in just the bad writing and terrible, and like going against the narrative and shit like that. It, much like with this, you'd have so many people who are just so quick to want to do Super Saiyan that they'd miss everything that leads up to that situation, because they just want to hurry up and get Super Saiyan because, ooh, you know. But it's like, yeah, in doing that, you fuck up so much, and this shows a perfect example of that. I just want that as a side note. You know, it just dawned on me while looking at this. At this moment, it just dawned on me. Remember when Garp was talking to Gold Roger in the beginning of the episode? Remember how important that was? Remember how significant that it was to this situation that's currently happening right now. Don't you remember that? I remember that. Remember how he was talking about his son? Is that still a viable thing? Is that still necessary? You know what they should have done? They should have shown when Smoker was watching the execution of Gold Roger, thus with him coming to the same conclusion that he does about Luffy and being upset the way that he does because of Luffy accepting his fate. They could have shown that. That would have made sense. That would have been okay. And then like a small Smoker in the crowd seeing when Gold Roger had that smile on his face. But they did show that in the first season, and it was still stupid then, but you still should have shown it now so it will actually make sense. But that will be, you know, that would be essentially following continuity, which obviously the show really doesn't do. I just had that thought right now upon looking at this. That's all. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, they fucked it up again. So, upon them showcasing Dragon of all people, you then have the situation where Dragon comes in and saves Luffy, because Smoker actually is pinning him down and everything. They did that wrong, and then they didn't have him bring out the little sea prism pole thingy. I don't know what they call that. It's a baton, but they didn't have him bring out the sea prism thing to weaken Luffy as he was fighting him, nor for him to get on top of him and pin him down with it. But then you have Dragon intervene within the fight. And then upon him intervening with the fight, what's supposed to happen is that, again, ambiguity. We don't know what this motherfucker power is. Even to this day, as I am recording this, and One Piece is in thousands of episodes and thousands of chapters, we don't know what Dragon can do at all. All we know is that he showed up here, and then what's supposed to happen is an incredibly powerful gust of wind blows everyone on the whole fucking island all over the place, where a majority of people just end up in different locations free, and they're able to get away. It's how Buggy gets away. It's how Luffy, Sanji, and Zoro gets away. It's how Nami and Usopp were able to get back to the ship without the navies capturing them. All of that is supposed to happen right now. But instead, some dickbag decided to have Dragon grab Smoker and disappear because they know exactly what the fuck his power is. They know exactly what the fuck he can do, even though nobody knows. We don't know. We have no idea what he's capable of. We don't see shit aside from wind blowing the island. That's what's supposed to happen. That's what makes sense. That's how everything concludes in a good way. Because if Sanji's just able to send shit to the Going Merry, the Navy would know that Sanji sent shit to the Going Merry, and the Navy would surround the Going Merry, which is what happens in the original source material. But this show was written by fucking idiots who forget the most simplistic and basic of shit. So, fuck you. God damn, the show's just this the biggest bitch. I hate everything about what I'm looking at right now. I hate everything about what I'm looking at right now. This is disgusting. It's just fucking stupid, man. Like, this is just unbelievable. It's unprecedented at how dumb this series actually can be. Again, just nothing. Such a nothing. Oh my goodness. I hate it. I hate it so much. You want to know why I hate this? You want to know the main reason I hate this? It's not for the fact that if you're a fan, you're going to sit here and look at this Jingle Key moment and go, oh, even though he shouldn't be fucking right here right now, nor does he have any significance right now. It's the fact that if you don't know anything about One Piece, you don't know who this is. This moment goes right over your fucking head. You have questions among questions, and you have any idea how much shit you will spoil upon trying to figure out who the fuck this is? Does it even occur to anyone who actually looks at One Piece or who knows who the hell he is that someone who doesn't know would be just distraught upon trying to figure out who the fuck this is or why the fuck they would do this now? This is the kind of shit that I look at and I go, yeah, this is proof that these motherfuckers can't write. This is the reason why the Fallout show is, like, it has people who watch it. It's because of shit like this. It's not written well. This is not good by any metrics. This is not an okay thing for them to do, but they're doing it because they don't know any fucking better. You can take the writers out of Netflix. You can't take the Netflix out of the writers. The problem is that they didn't take the writers out of Netflix. They just took the One Piece and dipped it in Netflix. Problem is, Netflix is fucking stupid. So you're left with shit like this. This is nothing right now. Do you not understand that? This is absolutely nothing aside from the hoop and hollering crowd going, ooh, look who it is. This has no point whatsoever. Jesus Christ. And again, you had another scenario where it was like, you're doing okay, don't fuck it up, and there you go, doing the exact same shit you always do. You fucked it up. Yeah, Sanji asked Luffy, who was that guy? No idea. You gave it a tense, serious moment, and then you had Dragon stand there watching him in the rain. He's like, a pirate. Go, that's the choice that you choose. And it's like, okay, tense, serious moment. Then this motherfucker walks out. How dare you? How dare you do this shit and you think that that's an okay thing to do? Seriously. Fuck. Just fuck. I don't even think he's supposed to be here at this point in time. I don't even think he's supposed to be with Dragon at Locktown. Like, not at all. Because why would he? It would make more sense for him to be in the Grand Line. And it was like a Dragon doing his own thing. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? She spoke and my brain just immediately yelled out, what the fuck? What the fuck? What? I'm so glad I'm not monetized because it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Just what the fuck? What the actual fuck? What? God damn, this is stupid. Oh my god. I don't even know what the fuck she's about to say. And I really don't care. But just not necessary. Their whole shtick is that they're not supposed to be dealing with the Marines. She has a wanted poster. For the love of fucking God, Nico Robin is known throughout the world. Oh my God. Shit, this is fucking stupid. This is fucking stupid. The entirety of Baroque Works is supposed to be in secrecy. The entirety of it is supposed to be in secrecy. Nico Robin has a bounty on her head. And she stays close to Mr. Zero, just delegating missions to other people. She herself doesn't really get her hands dirty. She's not supposed to. And again, she's wanted. She's known. And they have absolutely no reason whatsoever to work with anyone outside of Baroque Works because it's a fucking organization of assassins. Crocodile's private army. The very notion that they're about to exchange some dialogue, especially her, the second in command of Baroque Works, with fucking Tashigi, the petty officer, right at this moment, makes absolutely no fucking sense when the only reason that Tashigi and Smoker go after Luffy is because Luffy got out of their grasp and Smoker is obsessed with capturing this nigga because he reminded him of Gold Roger. That's it. And Tashigi's all for it because she wants to get back the swords from Zoro and prove herself a strong swordsman. There is no other reason to push any other narrative with those characters as they do not show up again until Alabasta. You dumb fucking cunt. That's what you are. You're a cunt. You're a fucking idiot. A fucking dummy. And this is so bad. And I mean this to anyone that had any part for writing this bullshit and thinking that it made sense for any metric to even begin. Fuck, she's not even supposed to be here. She's in the Grand Line. Oh, damn it. She's trying to recruit her into Baroque Works. That's what you're doing? You're having Nico Robin, the demon child, second in command of Baroque Works, trying to recruit Tashigi, petty officer. Unbelievably nothing of a character. Right now. She's trying to recruit her into Baroque Works. Why the fuck would that make any logical sense at all? What does that fucking accomplish? What could that possibly accomplish? She's in the Marines. She's not even a fucking assassin. Let alone does she prove herself worthy of a damn because she just lost to Zoro. So what the fuck is wrong with you to write this fucking scene? You took out the sexism, but you put in this bullshit? Some shit that wouldn't even begin to make a lick of sense. Fuck, the underestimation of the Straw Hats is the big deal when it comes to the Baroque Works, let alone when they get into the Grand Line. These niggas are stronger than they actually perceive them to be. But this shit right here is stupid. This is so stupid. Why? Why would you do this? What possessed you to do this? What possessed you to think that this even would be an okay thing to do? This is a group of individuals that you had, okay, following your bullshit, all right? Like, let's follow the Netflix's Pirates bullshit. And your thing, this was an organization that Garp was looking into. Vice Admiral Garp was looking into Baroque Works. And now Baroque Works is trying to recruit, Baroque Works second in fucking command is trying to recruit Petty Officer Tashigi. Petty Officer Tashigi that's never left Logtown. Why? To deal with the shit that they're going to deal with in Alabasta, a place she's never been to and knows nothing about. She's in the East Blue right now. You guys are some dumbasses. This is the most assholic shit you could possibly have done, and it is destroying my brain right now. This shit hurts me. God damn it, this is so stupid. This is so unbelievably stupid. Again, following your logic from your show, this doesn't make any sense. And then if you know anything about One Piece, this can't fucking happen. Damn it, this dumb. This is so dumb. She's recruiting random bitches? Seriously? Nico Robin's gonna recruit random bitches? For what? To what end? Everything is built off of the Alabasta plan. And not only that, Nico Robin has her own reasons for dealing with Crocodile when it comes to the Alabasta plan. So why would you introduce a narrative that does not need to be introduced? Shit. All this is telling me is that either they're going to shoehorn Tashigi into everything like they did with Kobe in the first season because dumb shit. And then they're going to try and justify that leading up to when they get to Alabasta within this season because dumb shit. You motherfuckers are horrible people and I don't like you. So again, this piss poor rinky dink show does again what it do. And you have you have a moment that actually is serious and done well after that fuck or whatever with Miss Sunday. You have Smoker show up, talk to Tashigi in a bar, and him explaining what he saw, what Gold Roger was about, and why he do what he do. And then also why he gonna be after Luffy. And that's it. That's all you have to do. Simplistic, simple, following the shit that's already came before it. You fucking hacks. But again, like I stated before, they do this and then immediately fuck up afterwards. Because after this, guess who they're gonna show again? Bartholomew! I was right, they showed Bartholomew again. There you go. They just showed him. They show him and he looks at Luffy's wanted poster and he looks at the wall. Why? I don't know. They fuck. Like you have any idea how insignificant his character is until like it's not even an insignificant thing. He's not supposed to be here. Fuck. And so we finally get to the end of this first episode. Thank fucking God. I know I can't binge watch this shit. I need a break. I mean a long fucking break. Good lord. Yeah, so the crew has left Rogue Town, Log Town. Sorry. 4Kids version of One Piece popped in my head, which is better than this, by the way. But they left Log Town, and then essentially they're now heading to Reverse Mountain, to which the ship is steadily heading towards it. Ironically, the sails aren't furled, but whatever. This was bad. This was really, really bad. For someone who thoroughly enjoys One Piece, watching this was like fucking pulling teeth. I don't really care for this in terms of an adaptation. First and foremost, this is a very bad adaptation. This had jingle key mechanics all over it. The whole I know what that is bullshit all over the place. And you just had so much shit stuffed into it that was just unbelievably unnecessary. Now, again, I'm just drawn to the fact to where they did not need to rush the series to this extent, to this point. And again, pacing wise, what the fuck? You tried to cram in everything that took place within them being in Log Town in one episode. Fine. But if you took out the court scene, Garp talking with Gold Roger, bunch of the other individualistic bullshit in order to get to the nitty gritty of what they do before they leave Log Town, you would have been better off. Or you probably would have had a shorter runtime of an episode, or if anything, bleed it into the second episode, which would have been fine. You could have did more in terms of how much of a threat the Navy is to Devil Fruit users, where it be them using the Smoker using his Sea Prism Stone baton, as well as them having the steel cages that they shoot out of bazookas and whatnot, or just the prep and the threat of the Marines, as well as the overall fate aspect of what it is that they're doing. Because again, when the Marines had the Marigo surrounded, they were supposed to destroy the ship, but the rain was stopping them from lighting the cannons, and so then they had to go and get waterproof cannons or raptor cannons in order for them to be able to fire properly, which then still led them being able to get to the Mary and still leap. But again, all of that stuff is tackled within the regular thing of One Piece, and all of that stuff is completely glossed over in this series. Now, the idea of going can't be a one-to-one. It's not a problem or a far-fetched thing to say. I'm not saying that it had to do that at all. What I am saying is that typical simplistic shit was overlooked, overshadowed, and overcompensated for in order for them to push in and shoehorn their bullshit. Alvida not being as pretty as she's supposed to be, disgusting. Tashigi not talking about the sexism thing, disgusting. The idea behind Dragon showing up and not blowing away everybody on the whole fucking island, the way how that gust of wind was supposed to do to showcase exactly how bad the storm was, disgusting. It was supposed to have been raining, terrible storm, brr, that's the whole point. And then you just see it as this thing of fate, disgusting. All they did was just sit there and show you a bunch of characters that are not supposed to be introduced yet or have no significance yet, and then just other elements of the plot that pops up within One Piece later on as some type of weird cutaway so they can have that stupid ass dramatic narrative aspect of them going from place to place to place to place to person to person to person to person while within the confines of one episode. Problem is that you're adapting an anime or a manga, if you will, which is a linear story. It's very linear. If you follow the story, then you're good. But when you do dumb shit like that, then you fuck up. And essentially, a lot of what they did in this first episode is very familiar of the horrible filler aspect of Lockdown, what's in the anime. Which is just, you got each episode dedicated to a bunch of goofy shit that don't matter. Sanji in the cooking class, that's actually the main thing that I can think of. It's just the Sanji in the cooking competition. I said class, but in that cooking competition, oh boy, feel it. Oh man. But this was ultimately just very poorly done. Now, I'm not even going to skimp out on the fact that a lot of the acting was very wooden and stiff, which is again a highlight because that's what happened in the first season. A lot of the narrative of what's going on or character motivation is either glossed over or just missing completely because again, they did that on the first fucking season. And so these things are just continued over into this season. That doesn't mean that they get a pass because, well, they did this bullshit last time, so it's okay for them to do this bullshit now. No, it's still bullshit. It's still a problem. It's still bad. And so because of that, I'm calling it out. This is not One Piece. This is not good. And just like last season, I am pissed. So I will be doing the rest of the episodes, and I'll be doing them in this format, in this way, because it's what I do. But yeah, I'm not a happy camper. So I will see you on the next episode. This has been another episode of Fun with Flame. I've been your host, Danieltheflame, and as always, good people, I hope you had fun, because I for damn sure know that I'm not.